Real Madrid's own primary transfer target this summer chose to sign for Barcelona instead. That single decision, Rodri picking Hansi Flick's project over José Mourinho's rebuild, after Real Madrid's own negotiations broke down, tells you almost everything about the power balance heading into this La Liga season. One club is defending back-to-back titles with genuine momentum and a settled system that's had 2 full years to bed in. The other just spent more in a single window than it has in years, trying to claw its way back to relevance after 2 consecutive trophyless campaigns. And by the time this season kicks off, both clubs will have already made their intentions unmistakably clear. Last season laid the groundwork for exactly this gap. Barcelona won their 2nd consecutive title and 29th overall, sealing it with 3 matches to spare after beating Real Madrid 2-0 at Camp Nou in the season's 2nd Clásico. Hansi Flick's 5th trophy in under 2 years in charge, including the 2025 Copa del Rey and Spanish Super Cup. Real Madrid, by contrast, endured a genuinely chaotic campaign from start to finish. Xabi Alonso, appointed the previous summer to replace Carlo Ancelotti, was sacked in January after barely half a season, and replaced by club legend Álvaro Arbeloa on an interim basis, while reports of dressing room fights and even a fan petition to sell Kylian Mbappé painted a picture of a club in real disarray behind the scenes. Mbappé still somehow won the Pichichi with 25 goals despite all of it, a reminder of the individual quality still sitting in that squad, even when everything else was falling apart around it, and a sign of exactly how much untapped potential a genuinely stable environment might unlock this time around. Barcelona's own campaign wasn't entirely without drama either. Lamine Yamal missing chunks of the season through injury and the club being knocked out of the Copa del Rey semi-finals by Atletico Madrid. But the underlying numbers told a story of genuine control. An 11-match winning run at one stage, the league's fewest defeats among the top clubs, and a squad that never seriously wobbled even during its rivals' most chaotic months. The summer business tells you exactly how each club has responded to where they stand. Real Madrid moved fast and spent big under new manager José Mourinho and a newly re-elected Florentino Perez, bringing in Marc Cucurella from Chelsea for around £52 million, after the club's left-back position had been a genuine problem since Marcelo's departure years earlier. Bernardo Silva as a free agent from Manchester City on a 2-year deal. Ibrahima Konate on a free transfer from Liverpool to add pace and experience at centre-back. Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan as the long-term successor to Dani Carvajal. Young striker Carlos Espí added to build for the future up front. And Yan Diomande arriving as a new club record signing to further stock the attacking ranks. Over €200 million combined, and the club's biggest single-window outlay since 2019. It's a squad built with an average age approaching 29, explicitly assembled by Mourinho to win immediately rather than develop gradually for the future. The emphasis is clearly on experience, physicality, and proven quality, with the manager prioritising players who can make an immediate impact rather than waiting for younger prospects to mature. Barcelona, working under considerably tighter financial constraints that have shaped their transfer strategy for years now, still pulled off the single biggest coup of the summer, prizing Rodri away from Manchester City for a reported £65.4 million and beating Real Madrid to his signature, with the World Cup winning midfielder ultimately choosing Flick's project. They then made a major statement on the wing by signing Anthony Gordon from Newcastle for £69.3 million, including add-ons, a move that effectively ended hopes of turning Marcus Rashford's loan spell into a permanent deal. Barcelona also added Karim Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund for an initial €22 million plus bonuses, giving Flick another fast and versatile attacking option, while João Cancelo returned to the club on a permanent deal after his previous loan spell. Barcelona remain hopeful of one more statement signing too, with Atletico Madrid's Julian Alvarez identified as the long-term replacement for Robert Lewandowski, though Atletico's hardline stance and his €500 million release clause make that a considerably tougher deal to actually land. On pure spending, Madrid have clearly outlaid more across a wider range of positions. But in terms of value and potential impact on the title race, Barcelona's business looks considerably more efficient, with Rodri's arrival arguably the most influential signing of the summer. The dugout duel is where this season's real philosophical clash lives. Flick's Barcelona plays an intense, aggressive high press, built on quick transitions and a settled positional structure that's now had 2 full seasons to bed in. The kind of identity that doesn't need reinventing this summer, just reinforcing at the margins. And Rodri's arrival gives it exactly the control and rest defense stability in deep midfield it occasionally lacked at its most chaotic, end-to-end moments last season. Mourinho, back at the Bernabéu for a second spell more than a decade after his first, represents almost the philosophical opposite of that. Pragmatic, defensively disciplined, historically happy to sit deeper and strike on the counter against superior opposition rather than dominate the ball for its own sake. An approach that won him trophies everywhere from Chelsea to Inter to Roma, regardless of how it looked doing it. It's a genuinely fascinating contrast for a manager once defined by his fierce rivalry with Guardiola's Barcelona to now be tasked with beating a Barcelona side playing something much closer to that same underlying positional philosophy. Except this time with considerably more pragmatic, win-now personnel at his disposal than the idealistic, homegrown core he battled against all those years ago. Up front, the individual quality on both sides is frankly absurd. But the more interesting question is how Mourinho and Flick intend to use it. Real Madrid's front three of Mbappé, Vinicius Jr. and Yan Diomande gives Mourinho 3 players who can attack space, isolate defenders, and turn defensive transitions into chances almost instantly. Mbappé can drift inside from the left, or attack the space between centre-back and full-back. Vinicius remains one of the most dangerous one-on-one players in Europe, while Diomande adds another direct running threat from the opposite side. With Rodrigo and Endrick also competing for minutes, Madrid have the personnel to make their attacking game extremely difficult to contain. Barcelona's attack is built around a different idea. Flick wants his wide players to stretch the defensive line, create 1-versus-1 situations, and immediately counterpress when possession is lost. Lamine Yamal gives him the creative hub on the right, while Anthony Gordon and Karim Adeyemi add pace, vertical running, and the ability to attack the space behind a retreating defense. Rafinha gives Flick another option who can move inside and combine, rather than simply staying wide. That variety matters because Barcelona can change the profile of their attack without completely changing the underlying structure. And that is where this duel becomes fascinating. Madrid may have the more devastating transition attack, particularly when Mbappé and Vinicius have space to run into. Barcelona, however, have arguably more variety in how they can create chances against a settled defense. So the attacking battle may ultimately come down to one tactical question. Can Mourinho create enough transition opportunities for Madrid's front three? Or can Flick's positional structure pin Madrid back and force those same attackers to defend more than they want to? In midfield, Rodri's arrival could be the signing that changes the entire balance of this title race. Barcelona did not simply add another elite midfielder. They added a player capable of controlling the tempo, protecting the defense during attacks, and giving Flick a reliable outlet when opponents try to press high. Rodri can drop between or alongside the centre-backs during build-up, allowing Barcelona's full-backs and wingers to push higher while maintaining numerical security behind the ball. Just as importantly, his ability to recycle possession and break the first line of pressure should give Barcelona far more control in the matches where their attacking structure becomes chaotic. Real Madrid have quality everywhere in this area, but their midfield is built around a different set of strengths. Bernardo Silva brings technical security, press resistance, and experience, while Jude Bellingham provides physicality and late runs into the box. Valverde offers enormous running power. Tchouaméni can protect the defense, and Camavinga gives Mourinho another option for carrying the ball through pressure. The problem is not a lack of talent, it is the lack of a clearly defined controller who can consistently dictate the rhythm from deep. That distinction could become crucial against Barcelona. Madrid have enough athleticism to dominate transitions and enough individual quality to overwhelm teams in open spaces. But against a Barcelona side determined to control possession, Mourinho may need someone capable of winning the midfield battle without relying entirely on counterattacks. Bernardo can help solve part of that problem, but he is not a like-for-like replacement for Rodri. So while Real Madrid may have the deeper collection of midfield profiles, Barcelona currently have the clearer midfield identity. Defensively, Real Madrid may have made the biggest structural investment of the summer. Cucurella, Konate and Dumfries were not simply additions to the squad. Each one addresses a different weakness that has been exposed over the past 2 seasons. Cucurella gives Mourinho a more aggressive and technically secure option on the left. Dumfries adds physicality and recovery pace on the opposite side, while Konate brings speed, strength, and the ability to defend large spaces behind a higher defensive line. That profile suits Mourinho because it gives him the freedom to change how Madrid defend depending on the opponent. They can sit deeper and protect the box, but they also have the recovery pace to defend more aggressively when necessary. Konate's ability to cover space behind the midfield could be particularly important if Madrid commit numbers forward, while the physical presence of the new fullbacks gives Mourinho more options when defending transitions. Barcelona, by contrast, enter the season with a much more established defensive structure. Joan Garcia gives Flick a goalkeeper comfortable playing behind a high line, while Cubarsí and the rest of the backline already understand the positioning and pressing demands of the system after 2 seasons together. Barcelona's strength here is not necessarily individual dominance, it is collective familiarity. The defensive line knows when to step up, when to compress space, and how to immediately react after possession is lost. So who has the edge? Barcelona start with the advantage of a proven system, back-to-back titles, and Rodri anchoring a midfield that should give Flick even greater control, while Real Madrid have responded with an aggressive rebuild designed to win immediately under Mourinho. Madrid have more to prove and far more new pieces to integrate, but if Mourinho can make the defense click quickly and turn Mbappe, Vinicius and Diamonde into a consistent attacking force, the gap could disappear fast. Barcelona are the safer choice on current evidence, but Madrid have built the kind of squad that could turn this into a completely different title race.